Everybody, it is me, Piers, with Between the Piers. Before I begin today's episode, I would like to give a special shout out to another podcast that is really important and really near and dear to my heart. What the Fauna? WT Fauna? Have you ever been interested in learning about obscure animals, such as the aardwolf, or the ammonite, or even the California king snake? Well, host Dom Greenwood, based out of Australia, likes to go into deep dives about all these super cool and unique animals. And it's an easy listen, and you get to learn about really, really cool animals that populate this really cool and amazing Earth. I don't see why somebody wouldn't want to listen to it. It is known as What the Fauna, and you can find it on Spotify and on Apple Music. I'm not even sponsored by it. It's just my absolute best friend in the world who hosts it, even though he's in Australia and I'm in the United States. And I would do anything and use my platform to shout him out because he is an incredible guy. So once again, check out WT Fauna or What the Fauna on Spotify and Apple Music. Thank you, folks. Now, let's get back into the episode. And we are live once again from the Portland Media Center. This is another episode of Between the Piers. It's actually really beautiful in Portland today, which is super awesome. I drove down and finally there were people outside, which was kind of nice. Hoping everybody has had a great week and we are heading into May strong. Welcome to another episode. I suppose you could say that my guests today are purveyors of the ever-eternal Hell Yeah Core and participate in a sport that I can certainly say I dreamed of doing when I was a kid, but didn't know was a real thing. Tonight, I am joined by not one, but two guests, Christopher Wilkins and Raul El Guapo Felix. Thank you both so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you. So let's talk shop off rip here. What the heck is Buhurt?
Well, Buhurt, B-U-H-U-R-T, is a word that comes from the Old French Buhurt, which means to wallop. And it is a modern combat sport based as a revival of medieval tournament combat.
Okay. That's super neat. So where does Buhurt come from? Does it come from France?
Yeah, well, basically all around England. In the 14th and 15th century, there would be traveling tournaments where men-at-arms and knights could display their prowess and attract benefactors so that they could continue fighting for a wage.
Okay, so it's kind of similar to like a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms from the Game of Thrones series, where the character goes into the lists to try and get a benefactor because he's a hedge knight. Something similar to that?
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, I think we've been familiar with jousting as a sort of medieval tournament event, but there was all sorts of other force-based mounted combat and foot combat.
Very cool.
Various weapons.
Very, very cool. So talking right now is Chris Wilkins. He is the head coach, right?
Yeah, I'll take coach title.
Cool. The coach of the Portland Reavers, which is Portland's armored combat group, which I can say I only found out about recently and went to one of their events, and it was absolutely awesome. So what are the different disciplines of Buhurt, if there are any?
Yeah, there are a few disciplines. There's a dual format where like you have a sword and shield, but only sword strikes counts, and you can defend yourself with your shield. That also longsword falls into that. It's basically going for the taps, more quick format, stuff like that. There's no grappling or kicking or anything. That is more strict, sort of play with that. Some people like that. Like I personally don't do that. I do more like the pro fight / night fight format.
Okay, what's that?
And basically that's more when you think about when it's more action packed. It's more like mixed martial arts in armor. The only difference between the pro fight and night fight format is pretty much in a pro fight there's ground fighting. But with that you're allowed to hit your sword, a shield punch, grapple, take people down, kick, do whatever you gotta do. You do a lot of more traditional MMA stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's another format, it's called the melees, and I can On a smaller scale, it can be 3 versus 3. Most tournaments do 5 versus 5, and the goal is to knock down the other team, basically.
So to get them to just fall over.
Fall over, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, your goal is, and usually a lot of the bigger guys dominating that. You have some of the more average to slightly above average guys be in the middle, but that's more a big man sport right there. But a lot of people like doing that. I like doing that too, but for me, pro fighting is the one I'm passionate about.
Pro fighting. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And talking right now is Raul Felix. He is a professional Buhurt fighter?
I guess as close to professional as you can get.
Okay.
I have a real job, so my income doesn't depend on the sport. If anything costs me money, I pay my own money. But eventually, every once in a while, I get paid $100, a couple $100 in a hotel room, some beer.
I mean, that's all you can ask for in these kinds of things.
Every once in a while. For the most part, I spend more gas money getting there than anything else. So,
Sure.
But I am pretty well known as you can be in the sport.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah, I was super stoked. I think I saw you at the Banded Brewing, and you had the green gambeson with what's the depiction in the middle?
I have the Virgen de Guadalupe on my chest.
Okay.
I'm a Mexican American, and I'm not super religious, but I do believe in a higher being. But the big reason I wear that is because the Virgen de Guadalupe, or Virgin Mary, basically is the Virgin Mary.
Okay.
Is a big cultural symbol in Mexico.
Very cool.
And it's a big cultural Mexican American symbol, and I kind of thought to myself, Mexican knights did not exist, but I kind of thought to myself, what would a big Mexican knight wear to battle? And then in my head, a big old Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
So that's why I made it. I kind of just. And I don't think anybody else has done that before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think and that's kind of just become my signature look.
Yeah, it definitely was striking, and I remember that when I went to see you, I was like, that is so incredibly cool.
So for me, just kind of big Mexican Catholic knight. What would he wear into battle? And that's what he wore.
The Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. That is so. I'm in the presence of two really, really cool people right now.
Yeah.
So, what is the country of origin of this sport of Buhurt?
Well, as the name would suggest, a lot of these tournaments happen in France and Germany, Italy, England. So that Western Europe milieu. But we do have several hundred years of history that we sort of engage with as far as the armor sets.
Okay.
So you could also have more Eastern kits.
Okay.
Get into more of a Mongolian style or Russian style. There are even some Chinese and Japanese style kits.
That must be really difficult because a lot of those kits were not made of metal, correct?
Right. So we have levels of authenticity that we try to achieve with our armor, so that we can depict something more or less what you would have seen back then.
Cool.
But a lot of that is on the outside. So everything you see on the outside has to look period. But we do make some modern adjustments underneath the kit.
Sure.
Some modern foam padding. Some things like motorcycle armor is often worn.
Motorcycle armor?
Yeah.
Oh, like motorcycle padding for road rash and stuff.
Yeah. For road rash, they make extra spine protection.
Okay.
That is important. And as long as all that's hidden and covered up, you can.
Cool.
Also sort of supplement what would have been maybe wood or leather with a facsimile that looks right, but underneath we have hardened steel.
I see. When I was doing research for this, I saw that a lot of Buhurt suppliers come out of Ukraine, in Eastern Europe, the Ukrainian area. Why is that?
Well, when the sport revival really came together, the Ukrainians were at the forefront. The Russians and the Ukrainians had the biggest teams, the longest history, and a lot of the best smiths started at that time.
Okay.
So they have the most actual hands-on experience. They have mastered their craft to a level that we can actually compete with such intensity and not send everyone to the hospital.
And safely do so. Okay.
Well, safe is a strong word.
Okay, fair enough.
And obviously the war with Ukraine and Russia has affected that. So there is a big lead time sometimes because it will take 6-8 months to get a piece of armor just because they have some real war going on over there. So,
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, I definitely have read certain things, and it says things like, yeah, sorry, one of our smiths had to go fight in the war, which I think is absolutely admirable and kind of just brings that real world connotation. For all of you listening in, there is an event going on here at the Portland Media Center tonight. It is the first Friday, so if you hear passive voices in the background, that's what that is. But yeah, I think that they're not nearly as interesting as the two men I have in here. So keep listening in. So what weapons can you use in Buhurt, and what can you not use in Buhurt?
Well, you have a lot of options, actually. In the duels format, we have it set to matched weapon styles. So you can sword and shield, long sword, pole arm, sword and buckler. Now, even within that, an arming sword versus a falchion versus, various other styles of swords you can play around with.
So there's nuance to it.
Yep.
Yep.
And, they really each do, like in a video game, they'll have like different stats.
Yep.
And when you are wielding a falchion, it feels different than when you're wielding an arming sword, and you can use different abilities better depending on the style you're attacking with.
That is super neat. So you can't have like a halberd versus a sword and shield.
Well, not in a duel.
Okay.
Now, if we get talking a melee, where this is the team format,
Yep.
and you're just trying to put your opponents on the ground, you can go in with whatever you want, and you're going to start seeing a lot more like 3 to 5 foot axes.
Whoa. Yep.
Before we even start talking about like the 6 foot plus pole arms.
Yep.
You're going to see a lot more like one-handed axes in a melee, because you can hit people, but you're not being counted for points. So if you hit somebody, it has to be for effect. You want to be hurting them to a level that they will want to stop fighting.
I see. So basically, like, one guy gets behind and one guy just keeps wailing on him until he's like, I'm done with this.
yeah, that's a strategy. You can hold down a guy and stuff like that, and just have your buddy hit him in the back and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
all that pain compliance in
Yeah.
sport.
and like,
That's brutal.
and and it's also like as a fighter, you got to develop your sense of when it's worth it to stay up and when it's not. You know, like sometimes you're just not going to win. And you're just gonna hit 10 times in the back for no reason. So you're like, all right, I got hit 3 times. I'm gonna take a knee.
I think it's just time to
because
end it.
Yeah, cool. You stood up for 10 hits, but now you're broken for the next round.
Yeah.
And you're useless to your team.
If we're talking about tournament format, you have to think about the entire event and your strategy. So if we're doing 5v5s, usually it's best 2 out of 3 rounds, and we'll do like a round robin for every team at the tournament.
Very cool. So it's more of a marathon and not a sprint when it comes to these events.
Yes.
Yeah, but sometimes you do got to be tough and stay up for a team because they're dependent on you. But you develop the IQ with experience and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like anything else.
Yeah, and hopefully you have a good coach who's also watching from the outside.
Mm.
And they can always throw in the white flag, if they need to.
Similar to like boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I'll tell you a story. Like Back in Carolina Carnage, 2024. It's the first time the Reavers ever went to Carolina Carnage. And I was the captain for that team. And I think it was the last one of the last melee rounds, and like we actually did pretty good in that tournament. But like at this point, there's 4 of them, and there was 2 of us left, and I was getting crucified. Literally, one guy had my right arm, the other guy had my left arm.
Oh my
They
gosh.
had my chest open, and his buddy was coming with a big old axe right in my chest, and I couldn't do anything. And the other fighter, who was it?
Our other fighter,
Yanni.
he was a guest.
Yeah, and he was in a bad spot too.
Yeah, he was disarmed. He was getting 2v1.
Yeah, and like
This sounds insane.
And like Chris was smart, paying attention, and threw in the flag for us because we weren't gonna win that, and I was just gonna get hit in the chest a million times for no reason. So you got to be smart about that.
Fights the next day.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to be smart about that.
Yeah, you just gotta call it and go to the next day.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I'd imagine you can't use like war hammers.
Yeah, so there are specific weight, length, thickness requirements for all the equipment we use. In order to make all of this happen, it takes a lot of volunteers in our marshal corps.
Sure.
The marshals are the people who are like the referees and the scorekeepers and the counters. They make the events happen.
Okay.
And we've done a really good job in the Buhurt International League codifying our rule sets into very easily digestible public documents. All the weapon requirements and specifications are in nice organized charts. So, potential manufacturers can make sure they're designing something that will hold up for the sport.
And that fits into like that community and fits into that like accuracy and just like the the necessary.
Yeah. It was, again, like with authenticity, the weapons have to have the historical allegory.
Got it. So in that being said, I can't come in wearing something like the Hound's helmet from Game of Thrones or the Night King's helmet from the Lord of the Rings or something like that.
Not at the highest level play.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, if you kept your band brewing with that, we'll let you do it. But some official tournament, no. But more casual, fun exhibition fights, as long as it's safe, we'll let you wear it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Those things could be made to be safe, and if we knew who made it,
sure.
potentially.
Absolutely. So, like, what about, like, antlers on helmets? Again, I watched A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and you got Lionel Baratheon. He's got these big old antlers on his helmet. Like, that can't fly.
Not in the sport.
No.
No. Pointy.
I mean, that makes total sense, yeah.
Yeah, that is one rule we don't have, or we do have, is no stabbing. In any of the formats we have, you can't do any thrusting action with your weapon.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
And all the weapons are real, but they're all blunted too.
Okay.
They're all blunted, none is sharp, and like I said, we don't stab. So
We're talking real steel weapons, and in order for them to like stand up to the punishment we put them through, because we are swinging as hard as we can, they're not flexible. They don't have the bend in them that a fencing saber or fencing epee would.
Okay.
So that thrusting action will just punch through. Yeah,
so that's not ideal.
Yeah.
Very, very cool, very cool. Are maces allowed? Like,
we do have a 6-flange mace or a ball mace has been pretty popular lately. They just have to come in under particular weight requirements.
But, like, so how do you blunt a mace? Because it's already a blunt weapon, so...
Well, the 6 flanges, it's a mace, but it's more like a... how would you describe it? It looks like a pineapple sometimes.
Yeah.
A pineapple.
But I gotta say though, usually guys who use maces are not really using it as a mace. They're more using it as a stick to grapple with, as a grapple stick basically.
Yeah, got it.
It's usually guys whose main strategy is just grappling, they're good at grappling, and they use the mace as a way to leverage themselves better and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really a guy using it to strike. It's
So
more like,
there's not a guy taking a mace and just wailing on somebody.
they'll do it if they have to, but it's more like it's more distraction secondary. More they're using it so they have something easier to grapple with and create more leverage.
Cool.
So usually when I see somebody with a mace, I know like as a grappler because
we do have a rule in the melee that you have to have a weapon in your hand to take offensive action.
So if you don't have a weapon, you have to pick it up, or
no, you can't
run
pick
away?
it up.
Oh.
Because if you touch the ground with your hand,
Oh.
well, that's 3 points of contact, and now you're down.
Yep.
So you have to run back to your side of the fighting ring, what we call the list.
Yep.
And get a new one from your team.
So the list, okay, that's insane. The list is like the ring?
Yeah. We build a big wooden barricade, basically, to contain all of this mass.
So when somebody says they're entering the lists, they're not referring to like a actual list of paper. They're referring to the barricades.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll see it spelt with a Y to sort of distinguish it.
Okay.
But that is hotly contested.
Okay. So, and the weaponry also has to pass accuracy standards, right?
Yeah. And it should match your armor.
Okay, so you can't be like a 14th century German knight using a katana.
Right.
Is kind of the idea
avoid
there.
that.
Okay, very cool. So what comparisons can you make between Buhurt and other armored combat styles like HEMA, historical European martial arts, and like Kendo with the Kendo sticks?
Yeah, you'll know more about that. I don't really know the other ones.
Yeah. I would say a lot of the other HEMA especially specializes in unarmored combat.
Okay.
In a lot of their weapon forms. So they do a lot of first hit fighting.
Similar to like fencing with a touche?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get the touch, the round stops, you reset. And that's because they're simulating like a duel.
Okay.
And when we're simulating a melee, we're talking about like a battle. And yeah, you might win that first fight, but then there's another guy right behind them. And so we're really pushing an endurance level that you don't get in fencing.
Okay. So the like with HEMA's more of like a I touch you.
High technique.
Yep.
High speed. Really, you have to outwit your opponents.
Sure. It's like a puzzle game.
Right.
Okay.
There's a level of physicality in Buhurt because the armor does work.
Yep.
It really does protect you. We fight in timed rounds, more like professional boxing or amateur boxing.
Okay.
And you have to be able to go the full round. The additional complexity of having 75 to 125 pounds of steel.
Oh my gosh, that is that's really heavy.
Yeah.
It is a huge factor.
So and there's no cheating out of that. Like you're wearing that armor. There's full commitment.
Yeah, some fighters will try to work titanium into their armor.
Okay.
It is a little bit lighter, a little bit more brittle. It will take hits, but it has a chance to crack a lot easier than hardened steel.
And does that negatively impact its accuracy standard?
Well, it looks close enough.
Okay,
And
sure.
a lot of it is still covered up by like a coat of plates.
Got it. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, a lot of fighters do like little hacks and stuff like that to optimize your kit and stuff like that. But honestly, nothing takes place of just wearing your armor and actually working out. You can't cheat fitness.
Sure.
You know? It takes a while to develop the strength for your armor, get your body used to it and stuff like that. There's no real shortcut to it.
Very cool.
You just got to put time into it.
Absolutely. So it's kind of like with backpackers and like the ultralight movement of like trying to cut like, oh, let me saw my toothbrush in half. Okay, now I've cut off like 3 grams.
Yeah, there's some guys that still little nerds about that. I'm not really. I got the armor I got, and it's fine with me.
Sure.
But some guys like trying to cut like a pound here and a pound there and blah blah. Then that's cool for them, but I don't really care about that. I'll just get stronger.
Cool. So what does training generally look like for Buhurt? Like how much do you borrow from other martial arts?
We actually borrow a lot from other martial arts. You know, we borrow from Muay Thai, Judo, mixed martial arts in general, boxing. You know, like a lot of things are applicable to it, and a lot of things are not. You know, like there's our general conditioning and stuff like that we use there too. So
A lot of high intensity interval training.
yeah, high intensity. Yeah, like for my personal workouts, I borrow a lot from old school workout styles. You know, like I run up the bridge. I live in Bath, and I run up that bridge like 3 times.
Ooh.
Like I'll run in my armor too. I'll do pull-ups in my armor and stuff like that. I do but I'm a little bit crazy like that though.
You get a lot of shadow box.
I do a lot of shadow fighting. I do my pel work and stuff like that. And we have practices on Sundays at Maine Warrior Gym, 12:30 to 3:30. You know, anybody's welcome, by the way.
Yes, that was definitely, that is something that I want to hit home, that you can do this.
Yeah,
and
we
hit that home.
Yeah, we have soft kit there. And there, you know, we kind of develop, you know, we warm you up, teach you some drills, but the drills are important. We teach you some techniques, and then we spar. And every single week is a little bit different what we're teaching. Some weeks we'll focus on duels, some weeks we'll focus on pro fights, some weeks we'll focus on melees. Really depends what the lesson plan is. So that's our way as a team to prepare. But I tell my guys all the time, like, physical fitness is a personal thing. You know, one workout, one training a week is not going to get you in shape. You got to have the discipline to work out on your own. That includes lifting weights. That includes, you know, all the stuff I talked about earlier, you know.
Totally.
And everybody comes at this different skill level. You know, we have people who never done a sport in their life, and it hits them like, okay, I want to do this. You have people who are like freaking all-star athletes or MMA fighters and like, oh man, I want to do this, which is great. It's cool that you get those crowds, you know.
That's super cool. So you said that you run in your armor?
Yeah.
Like, do people ever like drive by and they're like, oh my, what is
Sometimes,
this?
yeah, I do my chest piece because like I don't do my legs just because it's kind of bad for your knees. So I do my chest piece, and when I do a chest piece, I don't get that many stares because far away it kind of looks like a winter coat or something like that. But when every once in a while I'll do wear my helmet and I get honks and stuff like that, and like from there and people like, yo, and I'm kind of known in town, so people are like, hey Raul, blah blah. You know,
that's
and,
super
yeah,
cool.
so I really stand up when I actually wear my helmet and doing it, or when I'm like in the park shadow fighting wearing my helmet or something like that, you know.
Cool. So
Yeah.
you're known about town as the night guy.
Yeah, the crazy guy who wears armor. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, talking about helmets, would you say that, because there's a bunch of different helmet styles that we see all throughout medieval Europe and beyond, would you say that there's a meta, if you will, to like helmet styles and armor styles that kind of are seen more often in Buhurt? And if so, what would that look like?
Oh yeah, like I mean, there's a lot of like little meme wars online about it and stuff like that. But the big meta one is the one I have, which is the wolf rib. You know,
The wolf rib.
Yeah, and it's the one that looks like a football helmet. You know, has the crossbars, and it's the best for sight and breathability. There's a big old joke in the community that you're likely to get your eyes poked out and stuff like that. which kind of happens though. We actually had a fighter who was a former Reaver who almost got his eye poked out last weekend actually.
Whoa.
Mikey Johnson. He was an MMA doing that.
He
got right here in the eyebrow. Like there's actually pictures going around about that. So it is a legitimate thing, but a lot of guys wear it because you can't breathe it. And other guys wear other things. I don't know the other helmets that well. Chris knows about the other helmets more than I do.
I mean, there's a pretty wide gambit. You're trying to balance safety and coverage, ability to move your head around so you can stay aware of the field. You want to balance your level of like personal safety versus your level of, I guess, insurance coverage.
Oh dear, yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, I mean, there are helmets like a Spoleto, which looks kind of like just like a colander visor.
Okay.
And like no swords getting through that, so you'll be very safe.
Okay.
If that is your primary concern.
And some guys just want the drip, want the aesthetics. They're like, I don't care if I can't breathe at all in this. It looks so cool. I'm going to get this helmet, and that's fine. It's it's fighter's preference. I do the sports optimization where I use the wolf rib. Some guys just want to look cool, and they get that helmet that makes them look cool, but they can't see anything out of.
So like I gotta mention it, the hound skull helmet, like the one with the big bird beak, that can't be meta, but oh my god, does it look sick?
I agree. Yeah, I think it looks amazing. I've loved it ever since I saw it in Knights of the Round, the old side-scrolling beat-em-up game.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah.
But it is like a perfect handle for your opponent to just grab your face and wrench your head to the side. So
you could make the argument though that you could also use it and drive it into your opponent's face to move them, right?
That depending on how pointy your beak is, it might be considered thrusting.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That is not a bridge we have had to cross yet.
I feel like that's just due to the lack of hound skull users in the community.
Right, but I could see hound skull v wolf rib becoming a problem.
Oh yeah, because they have the open.
Some of the wolf rib gaps are like 2 inches square.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like it's probably smaller, but they look huge when you're looking at it up close.
Sure. What about like ancient Greek helmets? Like I don't know what the Spartan helmets are. They definitely were dramatized in 300, but like what about that style of helmet?
So yeah, we really in our leagues we focus around the medieval period.
Okay.
I have seen other organizations that do similar things. They're not able to go like the high level of speed and competition that we do. They're maybe a little more reenactors, but I've seen gladiator teams and Viking combat groups that do something similar.
Isn't there a guy in the armored MMA world who has like the Mandalorian helmet?
Oh yeah, Abid Mitchell. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has that one.
And that's totally good?
No.
No?
Oh, no, okay. That would fit into like a local event. And different leagues have different standards.
Yeah, but like I don't think the Armor League or AMA care about that.
Yeah.
Like it's really like whoever runs the league. Some guys we're Buhurt International rules and we're gonna follow this. And some guys are like, we're doing our own thing, and yeah, it's league to league, man. Yeah. It's still like the wild west out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no WWE yet on this thing.
Yeah. Spectator beware when you start hearing about this sport and you're so excited and you want to explore it. We're still in a growing, evolving period. The sport really started happening like 15-ish years ago. It kicked off.
Okay.
And there have been several different leagues with different acronyms, and each one has slightly different rule sets.
Okay.
And it can get a little confusing as to what exactly you're watching when you're trying to say, like, well, but you're not allowed to do that. Yeah, in that league you can't. But in this league, you can.
Okay. Yeah. So which league is, like, the biggest stickler for, like, historical accuracy?
Buhurt International is the international body. The national organization, Medieval Combat USA, is the USA league.
The USA league of that, like, kind of answers to Buhurt International?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
They're the highest standards. You get the biggest events, highest level competition.
Okay.
Other big organizations, the IMCF is another world level organization. They host big international competitions, and they have national pro promotions like AMMA, who do exclusively, just the MMA style fight in armor, and they have a national tour going now.
Is that what's going to the Cross Insurance Arena?
May
World
30th.
Wrestling
Oh,
Arena.
Yeah, I applied for that one. I'm still waiting to hear from them, but I should get on it. I'm the biggest fighter in Maine, so I should be on
I
that.
would hope so.
Don't worry, I'll
Yeah.
follow up if I don't hear from them soon.
Totally. That's so insane. Wow, I'm sitting with two men who wear armor and like fight historically accurate. This is insane. This is so cool. Like, have you ever just stopped to be like, I really do this. I am really that guy. This is so badass.
It is sometimes, man. Like, it's weird because you get used to things, like, at first, wow, I'm like, wow, I really do this. And, like, every once in a while, like, I kind of get so used to it, I'm almost a little bit numb to it. Oh, like, I'm like, oh, I see another person in armor, blah, blah, no big deal. It's another fight.
Yeah.
But every once I'm like, holy crap, I'm in armor,
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like last year in November, I was telling my girlfriend about this. Like, I actually never really see myself in full armor because I never see myself in a full-length mirror.
Sure.
But I went to the bathroom, and in that men's bathroom, they had a full-length mirror, and like I saw myself in my full suit of armor for my first time in real life perspective. I'm like, man, I'm a scary-looking dude.
Yeah.
I look cool. I look so cool
badass.
right now. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, this is what I really do, and people give me high fives and stuff.
Yep.
So it's weird. You get used to it, but every once in a while, you like take a step back. Oh, I really do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you. I remember like how imposing that look was. I'll say it again. I remember how imposing that look was when I saw you at Bandon Brewing. I'm like, I want that dude on my podcast.
Yeah,
like, I just thought that
thank
was
you.
so cool. Absolutely, man. So let's talk about like Renfairs. Are people who are like engaged in night fights at Renfairs generally doing Buhurt, or are they doing like something else?
At some fairs, yes. The Portland Reavers, we've had representation at the Maine Ren Fair for years going. We typically are set up at the tavern, pouring drinks for folks.
In armor?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
no.
say.
No. We there's a big fundraiser. We work at the tavern there, but
It's a fundraiser for the club. It's a good chance for promotion.
Cool.
And
spreading awareness.
it's a big recruitment event. We got a lot every year. We get quite a few solid recruits from that event alone because we also at the tavern we have a table set up with everything we're about and have some like videos playing. People get curious.
Yeah,
and stuff like
absolutely.
that.
So some team merch.
So we got some pretty solid recruits every single year out of that.
Very,
Yeah.
very cool.
So you'll see like our friends with the Brotherhood of Arrow and Sword. They do more of a educational steel demonstration. So they fight with a lot of the same like armor and equipment and weapons that we do. Their just mission is more focused on like youth education than like high level competition sport.
So, where is you said the Brotherhood of the Arrow and Steel?
Arrow and Sword.
Arrow and Sword, where are they located out of?
I think the New Hampshire region, but they do events all around New England for Renfairs and schools.
Very, very cool. This is all just super cool.
It's an amazing community that you can get exposed to and like a real opportunity for adventure. I have gone internationally to participate in the sport and places I would never have gone to before.
Like where?
Well, just this last summer, I was at the Buhurt International World Cup. I am, in additional, as the coach and co-founder of the Reavers, I'm a certified international marshal.
Okay.
So I can help run events, and I was marshaling the World Cup in Hungary this summer.
That's super. Did you go to like the castles and stuff?
Yeah,
Whoa.
it took place at the palace grounds of a former castle, and you could see the castle up on the hill, and this was the tournament grounds where actual tournaments happened in the Middle Ages.
That's so
and we're
cool.
here doing it again.
It's like participating in the Olympics and like the ancient Athenian
Right.
Olympic grounds. That's super. That must have been so special.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah,
It was
no
amazing.
doubt about it. Speaking of like combat and stuff, I was thinking about like movies when I like did this, and I feel like people have such high expectations about like what combat looked like because they watch things like The Witcher and Lord of the Rings, where there's these like crazy kind of choreographed fights with a bunch of spins and a bunch of like flips and all just this crazy nonsense. That is cinema, right? That's Hollywood. Would you say that the reality of armed combat, as it historically accurately was, doesn't match that kind of flashy, spinny? As people who practice it, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a little bit complicated to answer because, like, remember, we are a sport, and we are a sport, and we don't stab. So
Totally.
And like, just the fact that we're not expecting to kill each other, so we probably
That's true.
we do things probably that we wouldn't do if I made a mistake, I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, from my understanding, traditional combat is a lot more grindier than movies make it out. You know, you stay in your phalanx formation, you stay in formation keeps you alive, especially in armed combat and stuff like that. Movies gotta do that because they gotta make it spectacular and stuff like that.
Sure.
And like I don't think a real war formation will work in the sport because it is just a big grind and it will be boring to watch, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, but like, so I think you do things you wouldn't do if you were actually like, if I make a mistake here, I'm gonna die.
That makes sense.
Sport gives you a lot because I've done a lot of dumb stuff, you know. I made a lot of, you know, in fights, you know. But what happened? I fell down on the ground and I got back up like 10 seconds later when the round's over.
In the real world, you probably would have met your...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think you do things that you wouldn't do if you would get killed.
Yeah, so now I totally want to ask you, what is like one of the most foolish things you've ever done in a match?
Oh, man. Give me a second. I got to think about that one.
Okay, I got you.
I got you. This is actually like a really good lesson because it's what failure can teach you when you have room to do it safely.
Yeah,
100%.
So, like, this is the real benefit of doing it even in the Middle Ages, is they could, like, do that. Like, hey, check this out. Let's see if this works. And should do something crazy with less chance of getting killed.
Very cool.
You know, when you still have horses, accidents happen. But
well,
yeah.
yeah.
This whole thing was made to, you know, keep knights in combat shape in between battles and wars and blah blah. You know,
Totally.
They, you know, because knights got to do stuff and knights can't work. They got to like fight or train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend, it's funny, I was talking to somebody yesterday about the fact that I was interviewing the Reavers, and he was like, I feel like if two knights came out of a portal from the Middle Ages and fought the Reavers would lose. And I was like, I don't think that's true. Like, I think, what are your thoughts?
Well,
I don't know, man. Are you just saying like an average knight? Like
like your average man at arms.
yeah, well,
maybe. I don't know. That'd be a tough one because we do train way smarter than now, but people back then were really hard.
Yeah.
Really tough. Yeah, you were doing it.
You have been training since you were a child to do this.
That's hardcore.
And little else. Like, there's like, you would have to learn some like courtly stuff as well. Because that was another aspect of knightliness.
But being a knight was very limited to nobility and stuff like that. So that's another thing.
Maybe,
I don't know, dude. I really don't know the answer to that one.
I think, an actual proper knight, it was a killing machine.
Yeah.
Like people give reverence to samurais for like the level of dedication they had. They also had that same level.
Yeah. Because like, I mean, as much as I love the sport and stuff like that, it is a hobby that approach with a lot of passion. But I got like a real job and stuff like that. Like, I'm not doing this 40 hours a week.
Sure.
Like a knight is training pretty much every single day, and they've been doing it forever. Like, I think an average real knight will probably kick our butt.
I also want to give you the credit of having more modern martial arts under your belt, right? The knight has one training style, and you have so many different like bags you can pull out of, like bags of tricks.
I don't know if that's true though, because I think like people back then were way smarter at fighting than we think they are.
Yeah.
Like the world was way more brutal back then, man. People get in bar fights all the time. It wasn't right here. Like you handled things back then, so. I think like an average knight back then probably has gotten a lot of brawls by the time he was 20, 21.
And
sure.
We have so many fighting manuals that have survived and been passed down or were ever created in the first place. I'm sure there was oral traditions of fighting techniques that we're only now rediscovering through participating in this sort of, living history exercise.
Sure.
Yeah, like a little side note on that. It's kind of like one of the reasons, like, I like the sport, I'm a little older. I'm 39 years old. I started the sport when I was 35. I've always been in good shape. But one of the reasons the sport was kind of, like, approachable for me and stuff like that is because the sport is still kind of the ground level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's only been around for 10 years. So you don't have people that have been doing this since they've been 5 years old, right?
Right.
And for me, like, that was great because, like, all right, cool. I'm not going to be fighting against prodigies. I think that's the thing where I didn't want to do, like, Muay Thai or other MMAs because, like, I didn't want to fight somebody who's trained by the dad who's a world champion since they were 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm 35 years old and barely learning this. And I'm like, I'm just going to lose. So
Fair enough.
yeah,
feel
like
there's the big gap between
Yeah, yeah.
the 40-year-old who just got interested and then the 40-year-old who's
Yeah.
still doing it.
And here, like, it's still like, there's people who've been doing it for a good while, but people are still learning things, and like the gap is not as big in the sport as it would be in other kind of MMA style sports, because you just don't have people that've been doing it for 20 years, 30 years, and then their dad was a champion, now they're training next generation champion. Like freaking like half the MMA world is now.
So why? So I didn't realize Buhurt was so young. It's only 10 years old.
Well,
In the States,
give or
in the
take.
States,
I would
in the
say
States.
in the States
In the States.
of good, active, reliable competition, yeah, it's only been, I'd say, like a decade. It has been maybe longer in Europe and...
Yeah.
So why don't you think it's taken off in the United States? People love nights. People love MMA. I think people love these like combat demonstrations. It kind of...
I think it's about to.
No, it's taken
I
off.
think it is.
It's hitting the tipping point. Like, I don't know if it's just my algorithm, but like, I kind of found it randomly on YouTube and stuff like that, and like nobody I knew heard about it. But now, like, I'm seeing random videos all the time. People know what it is. People have heard of it. When I first started getting into it and telling my friends about it, they're just making LARP jokes at me all the time and stuff like that.
Sure.
And, like, hey, what kind of level cleric are you? Blah blah.
Oh my gosh, D&D, the obligatory D&D
Yeah,
jokes.
it's like, and now people kind of know vaguely what it is,
Yep.
So and there's like teams popping up left and right, like for the longest time, not for the longest time, for a little while it was just me and Chris for a little bit, and our team grew, but now we're seeing other teams grow all over the United States. So I think it is, if not it's probably a tipping point right now.
I think we're about to hit like a level of like mass awareness.
Yeah.
The AMMA promotion has been really popular. There was that History Channel show a few years back.
Night fights.
Night fights. That
Okay.
made a big boost. I think there's going to be more media coming out in the near future about this. The more local clubs get exposure and talk about it. I've been on a mission that everybody needs to know about this sport.
Okay.
They don't need to do it, but I would love for them to know they have the opportunity.
Okay. So I guess that's a great segue into talking about the Reavers versus Buhurt, because the goal of this podcast is to talk about the cool stuff that happens in Portland. Like last week, I had a professional mermaid on this podcast,
Nice.
which I thought was super neat.
Nice.
The week before, it was a scuba diver, and I've just been having these incredibly awesome, unique hobbies. So who were the founders? Were you the founder of the Portland Reavers?
It was myself and Kayla Scarponi, another fighter who's out in Texas now.
Oh, wow.
We started the club here locally. We first founded in 2019, so right before the pandemic.
Oh,
so we
great.
So we got an immediate sort of a hiccup there. But, once restrictions loosened up and we could start practicing outside, we started hosting regular practices. Day 2, like Raul was there, and he's been with us strong ever since.
Whoa.
And it's just been like a slow build. For better or worse, there's not a lot of money in the sport. That is going to help as far as us maintaining what we want it to be. But it does make it difficult to put the word out.
No doubt about it. Did you have martial art experience prior to founding the Reavers?
My background, I had very little like martial arts Kempo experience. I did have some Muay Thai practice. I was not Olympic level, but like Olympic sport fencer.
Oh, whoa.
With the Bowdoin College Fencing Club.
Okay.
So I did that for several years. And I think the biggest thing I got out of that was just the peer instructed model where, we didn't have, a highly experienced coach with us all the time, but we had fencers who had enough experience to pass it on. And then working collaboratively, we all brought each other up. And a very successful, very positive model. And that's something I've tried to bring into the Reavers is none of us are making any money on this.
No.
We do fundraisers so we can buy equipment and make this more available for more people. But the ability to do this without a level of oversight from somebody who's not actually committed to the sport. But
So it's like the Wild West in terms of figuring it out.
a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I think there's plenty of other models we should be borrowing from and adapting to. But that level of organization is its own thing that hopefully we get enough people involved to
Totally.
commit to.
Okay, very cool. And the Portland Reavers has been around since the pandemic. The pandemic was such a wild time. And gosh, I am so glad that that's behind us. So you mentioned that you practiced at the Maine Warrior Gym in South Portland. Was it difficult to find a place that was just like, yeah, you're totally good practicing the swords and shields? Like,
Yeah, it took us a little while. Like, we practiced at the park over there in Brunswick when I first joined the team back in June of 2021.
Yep.
And then, we went to Vision Quest Muay Thai all the way in Newport at the time, then Pittsfield.
whoa, that's super far.
Yeah,
north.
because that was the only place we can get indoors for wintertime. So it'd be funny because there'd be a lot of us South Portland and South Mid-Coast Maine people going all the way up north just because we need somewhere. And,
That's a commitment.
yeah, and then, I think we had an event with the Axe Pit when they put on some event sometime, and we were there, and then we made connections with the Maine Warrior Gym. So, and we started renting out that space back there. We don't practice in armor at there. We do soft kit.
So what's soft kit? You mentioned that. What is soft kit?
Soft kit is kind of like, it's what you think about with traditional MMA stuff. You got chest pieces made out of foam. You got your chin guards. We got some helmets that we use for the sport.
Yep.
They got a thin sheet of metal as a face. And there's several models you can choose from. They cost about $150, $120.
Okay.
Which is fine,
Not as much as an actual steel helmet.
Yeah, and we use foam weapons and stuff like that. And in theory, it sounds a little dorky, but those foam weapons and soft kit workouts will smoke you. You will get tired. People come in there a little bit cocky. I'm really tough. I have a lot of endurance. Then do a practice with us, and they're smoked.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd like to also mention at this point that I am also a member of the Portland Reavers. Got into it recently and super stoked. And to anybody who's listening who thinks, oh, soft kit is just glorified bull noodles, I was going against somebody with a halberd. Do you remember this particular moment? And I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just kind of trying to act like the halberd was a Zweihander, and I was like, oh, cool, let me just fling it, let me just throw it back and forth, and then suddenly he locks up with me, and he's like, okay, Piers, what do we do here? And I said, well, I don't know. And then suddenly he just reared back with the handle of the Zweihander and hit me so hard that I flew across the room. Full transparency, I flew across the room. These are not glorified pool noodles. The helmet that I was wearing spun around my head, and I flew across the room. It is that hardcore, even at the soft kit level.
Yeah, you feel it. You get a nice hit with the soft kit of the little foam sword. You feel it, man.
Oh, man.
It's probably not enough to knock you out, but enough for you, okay, I don't want that to happen again.
I don't doubt that.
This
Yeah,
is
and I
why
don't.
think
I
it's a
can't.
good point to do the disclaimer of not to do this at home.
100% do not try this at home.
We are trained professionals.
For the most part, yeah.
But if you do want to do it, we're here to help you out.
Yes.
So there's very specific equipment requirements for everything we use in competition and in training. You want to make sure you have something that's gonna not break you.
Yes.
You can expect to get hurt. You should expect to get hurt doing this sport.
Yep.
We try to avoid injuries. Because if you get injured, then you can't do the sport, and that's not fun.
Yeah, getting hurt is one thing, and getting injured is a completely different thing.
You can have bruises. You can have a lot of things. I mean, you can see my arms. I got some bruises from the last fight right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's just part of it. You're doing a contact sport.
Yep.
I equated, I played football in high school and a little bit in Israel when I was contracting and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it's kind of like that. It's like, I don't even play hockey, but it's kind of like football and hockey. You can take big hits in those sports,
Yes.
It's kind of like that. I equate that to that, because you got this protective gear, but if you get hit hard in football, you feel it. You get hit hard in hockey, you feel it,
No doubt.
And if you get hit pretty hard, you're going to maybe have a concussion or you'd be limping for a couple of days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
so
doubt.
it's kind of like that,
Okay, yeah, very cool. Yeah, so what tournaments locally do you guys participate in? Say I want to go and watch Buhurt on a Saturday night. Where would I go?
So there are certain streaming options, like the AMMA promotions. They always have a pay-per-view you can stream live. Yep. We do have local events that we partner with breweries.
Yep.
Like we have a Banded Brewing fight series that we've just finished our third event.
Super cool. And that's in Biddeford, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're approaching festival season, so we got a few things lined up. July 3rd, we're going to be at Bath Heritage Days over there in Bath, Maine, on July 3rd. We're also going to do what's that Scottish festival?
Yeah, the Scottish Games, the Maine Highland
The Maine
Games.
Highland Games?
Yeah, it's going to be, again, up in the Windsor Fairgrounds this year.
Yeah, we're going to
wow.
Maine Ren Fair. Also, we're working on the Maine Potato Blossom Festival. That's not confirmed yet, but it's most likely going to happen.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
yeah, so that's for us locally. And there's other team. Like I said, it's kind of the Wild Wild West. We've been trying to get better as a community about lining up our calendars, but sometimes it doesn't work out. But yeah, man, if you Google it, you'll find events, stuff like that. And I said, it's the Wild Wild West. There's different things doing their own thing, and it doesn't always line up, you know?
Yep. Is this a hit with people in the area?
Oh, they love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, man. When I try to get people to come, I don't really try to describe it. I just show them a video of me fighting. Like, hey, check this out. Like, this sport sells itself.
And
like,
they either think you're absolutely insane or they think you're like the coolest dude on earth.
Yeah, exactly. Probably both at the same time.
Yeah, that
like
makes sense.
this thing literally sells itself. Whenever we try to talk to any festival person or promoter, and we show them what we are, like, they want it there.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, we have the problem that we have too many offers of places to go, and we don't want to burn out our team. So we got to be smart about what events we do, because we don't ever want it to become a chore for people. We want it to be, hey, this is what we do as a hobby, and like I don't want our team or me or anybody else to be like, oh man, I got to go to another Armor Combat event. I got to do this again.
Yep.
And so we try our best to space out our events and not burn out people, because this is a volunteer organization. No, like I said, nobody gets paid to do this. We do try to sustain the team, and make it not cost as much out of our personal pockets, but we're not getting rich by this,
Totally.
Yeah, and people have real lives. People have jobs. People have kids, blah, blah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are there options for folks who, because I'd imagine armor's super expensive, right?
Yeah.
That is one of the historical carryovers, is that it is prohibitively.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that prohibitively
This is the
expensive,
point.
but it is an investment. But I mean, you're probably going to invest in any other sport. If you do snowboarding, you're going to spend a couple of grand in gear and a ski pass. You
bought a motorcycle?
Yeah, you bought a motorcycle.
You're well over.
Any hobby, like Magic the Gathering, is going to cost you money. Like any hobby you do is going to cost you money.
Yep.
And I think the thing about the sport is there is kind of a lot of initial cost buying the armor to actually fight, but once you get your first your suit of armor, it's pretty much just maintenance cost and traveling to events. Yeah,
So it's like a buy once, cry once situation,
Yeah,
very
exactly.
similar to like skis.
And it's like a car, man. You can buy an economical piece of armor that costs $3,000, full suit, or you can go full bougie and get some 10,000 piece of dollar armor that's custom made. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can do. So there's a lot of space there,
Totally.
Yeah.
Just don't get the Timu. Just don't get like the Timu.
Yeah,
Buhurt
don't buy from
armor.
India.
Did you see that video where
Yeah,
it was?
yeah.
I think it was
Samurai from Australia.
Yeah, don't
just
buy-
destroying some fake armor.
Yeah. Don't buy from Indian. Don't buy Indian armor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much anybody who reaches out to you to try to sell you armor, don't.
Yeah.
If you want to get involved, connect to a club. That is the first thing. Don't buy anything.
Yep.
Connect to a club. Work with the people with experience. They know who's a reliable merchant, and they know what you need to be getting. And you should make all your purchases with the direct, coaching of your team.
Totally. So, are there like soft kit tournaments for people who can't like afford like the investment in armor?
Yeah, well, that is the thing we do every fall.
The Mead Cup at Agers Den.
Mead Cup in is that that's in Palermo?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Like I think we started a couple years ago where it is a specific soft kit tournament and it's limited to new people. So like guys who are experienced like me or more experienced fighters are not going to take part of it. It's not like a noob stomping event. It's where we limit it to new guys, and it's just so they get a taste how it's like fighting in front of people with soft kit and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like
That's,
I might be in it. Oh
no,
dear.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll have you in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
That is a thing that I'm really trying to maintain with the club, is that we're not all here for the same reasons. Some of us want to be, world-class athletes, highest level competition. Some of us just want to be active in a community of fun people. And there's room for both in the club.
That's awesome. That is super cool. So what is the balance between aggression and sportsmanship in terms of Buhurt? Because it looks super brutal, like when you're watching it and the sparks are flying and people are putting dent in armor, but that camaraderie runs deep.
Yeah. there's a pretty good amount of sportsmanship in the sport. You know, I generally kind of get along with people and stuff like that, and like it's funny. You'll fight hard. You know, give everything you got, and then at the end you hug it out. You know, I think it's mostly because like by that time you're too tired to be angry about anything.
Yeah, that's so fair.
All right, bro, that was a good fight. You know, blah blah.
Yep.
You know, like it's like anything. People are people, and there's drama, but let's not get into that. But generally, there's good sportsmanship in the sport, and people try to enforce it too.
Cool. I feel like we should circle back. Like, do you have any favorite tournament memories? Any funny mishaps in fighting?
Man, I fought a lot. Like, all right, I don't know if this is like a dumb mistake, but this is like kind of one of the mistakes that like a little bit haunts me a little bit because it doesn't haunt me that bad because like I'm pretty good at letting it go. But it was the Carolina Carnage in 2024. It's like we were in the like dirt fight, which was gonna make it out of our bracket. You know, like
dirt fight.
Our third fight. My bad.
Oh, third fight.
Yeah,
okay,
I pronounce words weird sometimes.
That's okay.
Like and like who was it? Rat Pack. I think it was against Rat Pack. Yeah. And like
also their first tournament.
They're really good now. But like yeah, man. Like and in that particular minute, I had been a stud actually. I had taken down 2 people, and then I saw 2 other guys were 2-on-1 and one of the guys, and I grabbed the guy from behind, and I couldn't take him down like cleanly. And I looked over, I'm like, all right, 2 guys got him. So I kind of decided to suicide. So I just put all my weight into him, and both fell down.
Oh,
man. Yeah. So because I thought our 2 guys were going to take him down, and they didn't. They got taken down, and we didn't make it. And I kind of blame myself. Like I shouldn't have assumed we would have won that. I should have taken, been more patient.
Yep.
Gone for the longer, cleaner kill. But I thought we were gonna have that, so I just kind of got sloppy and just like. I mean, I took him down, but I took myself down too.
Sure.
And kind of regret that. I'm like, so. I mean, like, it's fine. Like, and I think another one favorite memories is like actually from like that same one where I fought Grant Hendrickson in a pro fight. And this was when like the heavyweight and super heavyweight were in the same bracket because they didn't have enough guys. And I think at the time Grant weighed me by 20 or 30 pounds.
Whoa.
And yeah, man, that was my first pro fight, Carolina Carnage, and I pulled off a pretty amazing victory because like it was looking like Grant was gonna win that, and then at the end I just managed to get some really clean shield punches.
Okay.
Like I avoided getting taken down, just got points after points after points, and like yeah, man, the judges gave me that victory.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually got a pretty cool video that my buddy Brent Ebel made on that. If you Google my name, Raul Felix on YouTube, you see some fight videos. It's Carolina Carnage 2024 versus Grant Henderson. My buddy Ebel made a really awesome video of that, and you see in slow motion me punching Grant and his freaking helmet shaking and stuff like that. And Ebel put some awesome music and everything. Like,
man, yeah, this dude is on my podcast. This is so cool.
That's one of my favorite memories, and like. Yeah, man. I think pride, like I said, pro fighting is my thing. Like that's where I stand out. I'm a pretty good melee guy. I'm not the greatest. I'm a solid member in the melee team, but the pro fights is where I really shine. That's where Guapo comes out.
Guapo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so badass.
Yeah. You know what that means?
How about you tell me?
Spanish for the handsome one.
I knew that. Okay, I didn't know that. I just didn't want to botch it up. Very cool. So you did Olympic fencing, and you decided to go with Buhurt instead of HEMA? Because I thought HEMA and Olympic fencing have like great crossover, but...
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a natural pathway. So in between, I did about like 10 years of LARPing.
LARPing, okay.
And, the lightest touch boffer fighting that they use, it was an interesting evolution from like the fencing fighting to no longer be like on a time or like have a ref who's like resetting you when you're fighting, and it's just like a continuous fight that can sometimes run for hours when you run like a big field fight.
Sure.
And that like developed my sense of like field awareness in a lot of ways, even though the actual fighting is lightest touch, and now I'm in Buhurt, which is almost
the heaviest touch possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
The way you just like learn how to use your body, and your like distance gauging, and learning how to like pace yourself. These are all things that carry over, and just require a little tweaking.
Sure.
To meet the confines of the sport.
Did you have coaching experience prior to the Reavers?
not specific coaching. I mean, I'm an Eagle Scout. I've been, a teacher basically my whole life.
Badass.
Like,
Hell
teaching
yeah.
first aid and wilderness survival and stuff like that since I was a kid. So that, informs a lot of my philosophy.
Sure. Have you run into any like complications with coaching Reavers and Buhurt particularly, not the Reavers in general, but Buhurt that you're like, I don't think a football coach would have to deal with this?
Well, we definitely attract a lot of neurodivergent people.
Yeah.
Myself included.
Can confirm, me too.
Yeah. So having a level of awareness about the teaching styles for that community is very helpful.
Yep.
It honestly, I think the crossover in scouting was always there anyway, so it was probably what I was pretty much used to. You're always managing people. Anytime you get groups of people together, difficulty will happen. Complications will happen. Bad actors will need to be weeded out.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
So even though it is a wonderful community, just like any other community, where we all have to work together to make it the best it can be.
Sure.
Human nature is human nature, man.
No doubt about that. Yeah. I think that Buhurt is like the perfect example of like the jock versus nerd culture coming to a complete end. Because suddenly, you would hope so. Because suddenly, historical weaponry enthusiasts and people who love swords and shields and love knights and like to traditionally nerdy things are suddenly training to be like high intensity MMA fighters. And I think Buhurt's like the perfect combination of both. Would you agree with that?
It is. It is like it puts in like I always like knights and stuff like that, and like we have this term called jock-nerd. Like,
jock-nerd.
Jock-nerd, like because you gotta like kind of be a historical buff to like knights that much and stuff like that, and to do the sport you gotta be in shape.
Yeah, no doubt.
To do a high level anyway, I mean, you can be not be in shape and put armor on and fight for 30 seconds and then quit. But, to actually play at like a high level, you got to be in shape and stuff like that. And and people who like knights tend to be a little bit nerdy, like history and stuff like that.
Of course, as you have to be.
I'm a big history nerd,
Yep.
So that's what I like about it.
Totally.
And like, also like, a little side point is like, I think this whole like jock versus nerd thing is a very new thing.
You think so?
Yeah, it's a very new thing.
Huh.
It used to be like if you were kind of like a warrior scholar. Like if you were a warrior, you also used to have to study a lot and stuff like like know a lot about the world to be a true warrior and stuff like that. I think this whole jock nerd thing is pretty much like a movie trope developed since the 50s because the nerdier guys work the office jobs and then we're buff and stuff like that, and like the guys who are buff work the fields, blah blah, or everything.
So you look at like warriors like a Fiore de la Berry and Musashi, right? Am I saying that right? Musashi, and he was one of the best swordsmen in the world, but he was brilliant. So the combination is really a Western. The division of jock versus nerd is a Western trope.
Exactly.
From like John Hughes movies.
Yeah, because to be a knight, you need to be educated. You just couldn't just be a warrior. You had to like manage your fiefdom or whatever and all that stuff. You had to know how stuff worked, And remember, man, like a lot of these guys were like 20, 21 years old going to war and leading armies and stuff like that.
Alexander the Great.
Yeah, I'm saying, like they placed a lot more sense on people younger now. And, you know how 21-year-olds are these days. I'm not going to go into that. But back then, you placed a lot more responsibility on some people who were younger. Basically.
And they rose to the occasion.
Yep.
Yeah. I think sticking in the philosophy, everybody, I feel, needs to make sure they feed their mind, body, and spirit.
Yep.
To make sure they like have a whole sense of self. In high school, like the sport options they present, in a standard gym class are very limited.
Yep.
And it wasn't something that I engaged with. Like I did what I had to do in gym. But
I feel like we all, and especially in high school.
But there's like so many more sports that exist around the world and activities that aren't even sports but are physical and can teach you about your body and how to use it and how to work with yourself instead of against yourself. And on the mind aspect, people who are leaning more into athletics, I feel like are more capable of doing things like video games or Magic the Gathering, things that are strategic and intellectually stimulating,
Like chess.
like chess.
Yeah.
Chess is, I guess, having a big boom recently.
Yes, chess is so complicated.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and just making sure you're stimulating yourself in all three, I think, is really fundamental too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about balance, man. You got I believe in having a strong mind, having a strong body, and having a strong spirit and everything like that.
Yeah, I think the strong spirit definitely comes with having a strong mind and a strong body.
In community.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's another thing too. Like, do you think that some people come for the armor and stay for the community?
Yeah,
definitely.
With the Reavers and Buhurt in general?
Yeah, and I think, we get partners and families involved, at our events. All the support we have for selling our merch.
Yeah.
We appreciate our support, by the way. Thank you, support.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
None of this happens without all the volunteers.
Yeah, and people that just do this for the love of the representation.
Yeah, because there's some people who are very self-aware. Look, I'm not talking about me, but they'll say to themselves, I know I'm not going to be a knight, but I want to be around this, and maybe I can help support as a marshal. Maybe I can help support, do other miscellaneous things to support the team. Be an armor, blah blah. But they still want to train with us because it's a healthy activity to do. Yeah, they know they're not going to be an all-star in the sport, but it can help them get rid of 20 pounds. It can help them get their confidence back or something. You don't have to have the goal to be the best to do this. You can just do it because it's fun to do.
So you would say that people discover themselves through this sport of Buhurt.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think this is gonna fix you. If there's things wrong with you, this is not gonna. It might help you a little bit, but you're gonna have to deal with whatever issues you have. But it is gonna give you some tools to help you deal with other things. I think
and motivation.
Yeah, motivation and stuff like that. If you're looking for something to fix you, it's not gonna fix you. But if you want something to supplement your life and help you out in some realm, it'll help you out and doing other things.
If you're looking for community you used to have, in the military or in your sports team or in a D&D group that dissolved.
Exactly.
I feel like we all have experienced the D&D group that has dissolved. I think mine just dissolved very recently, and I'm still mourning that loss.
Yeah, it's tough. So if you want that sort of community, man, this will be great.
Boohert's the place to do it.
Exactly. I'm from California. I moved here 5 years ago to work because I got a pretty good job here. And this team has kind of become my second family in a way. I just think about it. I actually known Chris for almost 5 years now. So
nice.
And we kind of see each other more than our own family sometimes. So yeah, man.
And you get a lot of trauma bonding.
Yeah.
You face a lot of hardships together. Yep. You overcome things together.
Oh, yeah.
You create together.
Yeah.
This sounds incredible for
the events we pull off.
Oh yeah, and then and we've had our growing pains like anything else. We they've gone up and down a little bit, but our peak's a little higher every single time. So which is nice.
This sounds like an incredible group for maybe people that have struggled with isolation since COVID and people who don't feel like they are able to openly express their love for things medieval and things knightly. Because of the social stigmas around that being a traditionally nerdy thing. I think that this is a great group for that. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, no, it's great. And that should be a knight. I love it. I know as the knight fighter.
Yeah,
it's a cool thing.
So cool.
Yeah, people at work know me, give me high fives. Hey Raul, I saw your video. Blah blah. It's pretty cool, man.
Awesome.
It's really cool. And who doesn't love knights, man?
Exactly. That's the whole point.
I don't think. I met people who weren't that interested or think it's too violent, but I never heard anyone say, "Oh, I don't like knights." Nobody's ever said that.
Do you think that the visual brutality of Buhurt kind of gives it the respect of some skeptics compared to kendo or compared to some maybe even HEMA and some? I know that HEMA is brutal, but Buhurt takes it to a whole new level. You're in the mud. You're getting punched.
Definitely.
You're
because we can literally go full bore on the sport. You can hit as hard as you can. Some crazy stuff happens, Yep. And I think Chuck Goodwin said something about this. He kind of felt. I remember watching some interview he did, and he said he kind of felt any other sport he did, he was holding back something, whether it was football or basketball,
really?
Whatever. Yeah, he always had to hold back because in football you're only pushing each other for 6 seconds, 5 seconds per play, and then you're back resetting. This you're grinding until one of you loses,
Yeah.
In basketball, if you play by the rules, you're not supposed to elbow people and stuff like that, Here, as long as you're not hitting people in the crotch, behind the knees, or freaking stabbing them in the eye, or at all, you're good. You know, you can like literally go as hard as you can. You know, and like you can go until you're tired until you can't swim no more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even in sports like hockey, where you're like boom, 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 and you finally, I feel like people live for that.
Oh yeah, people love that. You know, that fighting thing, but then they go in the penalty box or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? Like people want that to happen. They don't even want the hockey game to happen. They want that to happen.
Yep.
Our sport is that part of hockey happening.
Well, it's like a car crash.
Yeah.
At the races.
Yeah.
That's one of the more exciting parts. And Buhurt melees are like just a nonstop car crash.
No, just constant brutality.
Yeah, I mean, like it has its like boring moments like any sport. Sometimes there's a lot of grinding going on where you see two guys just kind of hugging each other for like a minute and a half. Like, all right, one of you goes down already. You know, but
it's a lot more work.
But even so, you're still in armor.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's so cool.
Yeah, but sometimes that happens where the guys are. I think it's a 5-minute time limit.
You get the same thing with MMA.
Yeah,
it's like when you don't know what you're watching in ground fighting and grappling.
Yeah,
it's a little boring.
Yeah,
but the longer you watch it, the more you realize and appreciate what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
I think our sport for the most part has a lot of action packed and stuff like that. When you see like two fighters who know what they're doing, it's amazing to watch.
And if you like technique, you know, watching duels at high level can be incredibly fast and really impressive to watch.
That's super cool. So Buhurt in that way kind of scratches that primordial itch that humans have had forever, right? Yeah. The itch that brings us to gladiatorial games in ancient Rome, the itch that brings us to hockey fights and car crashes.
Oh yeah.
And Buhurt just takes all that and says, here it is.
Yeah, like people love fights, you know, like I mean, it's not a good thing to do, but when a fight happens at high school and kids yell fight, everybody's circling around to watch the two kids fight. People just love watching this.
Yeah.
Violence is a very natural and human like thing. And this is a good way for us to practice it and engage with it in a controlled, safe, consensual manner.
Yeah, like it is a good outlet, you know, like even I know I earlier said it's not gonna fix you, but it is a way to let out a lot of stress and stuff like that. I mean, I've always kind of been a generally positive person, but I find it a lot easier to be generally positive when, like, I had a fight and, you know, I let all my aggression and anger out, you know?
And now you're just coming back to it at baseline.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, this is not too bad. I can actually breathe. You know, like, this is not too bad. I'm not getting punched in the face right now. You know, like, you know, it gives you a little zen afterwards, especially if, like, you know, that Monday after a good fight and you won that fight and you're feeling good about yourself and you feel
and you go back to work.
And you're like, hey, nothing stresses me out today. Everything's chill.
Nice.
You know?
There's a meditative quality to being in a fight.
Yeah.
Even in training, when you're able to like push your body to higher levels and you enter a different sort of mind state, the outside world gets a lot smaller. Your outside distractions go away. When your body thinks it's, you know, fighting for its life, everything can focus down into that moment. And for people who feel like overwhelmed all the time, like their mind is on fire, it is a moment of actual like quiet that you can attain.
Yeah, because like
unmedicated.
You're not. I mean, you're not when you're in there in the fighting and stuff like that, and you're breathing hard and getting punched and. You can barely breathe. You're like you think you're doing horrible and feeling horrible. You're not worried about the parking ticket you got or your rent. You're not worrying about any of that. You're worrying about, oh man, I can't breathe right now, and this guy's beating me up.
And this dude is on me.
So everything else, your mind goes away. You know. That sounds
like something that I think a lot of people could benefit. I mean, obviously, like getting hit in the head is always like something that nobody admits that they want to do. But when you get that sword strike to the head, you're like, oh, okay, I'm in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and then after the round's over, like the match is over and stuff like that, you take a helmet off and you're actually breathing. That feels so good.
And you look like such a badass. That helmet comes off and you're like holding it in your hands and you're like, that is so sick.
Yeah.
So what feels more real? Because you're like a high level pro fighter. You're a coach. What feels more real, modern life or your moments inside the list? What feels like it resonates with you more?
Definitely the moments inside the list resonate. I mean, I have a pretty cool, awesome real life. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but I won't go into my real life. But
sure.
Inside the list, I feel really, really good. You know, like, and when you're in there, man, I gotta lie, it feels horrible. Like, it feels horrible. You know,
it's
like
a type 2.
Yeah, like it's a type 2. You're even there's so many times where I fought and I feel like I did horrible, and then I watched the video. I'm like, oh man, I was actually really good and stuff like that. You know, like. And like I'll relive those moments again and again. I watch the videos again and again. I can obsessively watch them and stuff like that to get better and stuff like that. So it feels really real, and and I catch myself remembering fights a lot.
Yep.
You know, like I catch myself thinking about past fights, like very intimately, little moments, stuff like that. You know, and like, because I don't want to say like PTSD, but it's not the same thing. But it's kind of like those memories where you know remember things in your mind. You know, like I'll remember random fight moments randomly throughout. I'll just be at work, and then like a random moment from a fight that I had a year ago will pop in my head. You know, just like it's
and weird. It's like a nostalgia.
Yeah, it's a nostalgia in a positive way. You know, well, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, whatever like the positive version of PTSD is, I guess.
And that's and that, and I suppose that's worth the price of admission, right? That's worth those moments where you're like getting hit in the back of the head with it, or maybe not the back of the head, but hit in the top of the head with an axe, and you're fighting for your life in those moments.
And we laugh about it, you know, like it's cool. Like after tournament's done and stuff like that, like. There's a good community. Like we'd be hanging out, drinking beers, and talking to the other guys. Oh man, I remember when you had me in this moment. Oh, you had me. And I felt you hit me in the butt and blah blah. Like you know, like just taught you. You know, you recap the whole thing and stuff like that. You know.
So Buhurt is a fantastic way to connect with European and even beyond, like the historical significance of that. It's a great exercise and it's a fantastic community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So, say someone, and we've kind of touched on this a bunch, but I want to make it as clear as possible. Say someone in the Portland area heard this podcast or saw you at Bandon Brewing and was looking to start Buhurt with the Reavers. Don't start it at home, folks. That's not what we're telling you to do here. How would someone really get started, and what do you, as the head coach, want them to know?
The biggest thing you can do is just show up. Mm-hmm. That is the first and biggest step.
Yep.
If you can get yourself to actually show up to a practice, that is the biggest step you can take.
Stop overthinking it.
Stop overthinking about it.
Yeah, it's not that scary. Yeah, just stop overthinking it. Just show up. There's always going to be some excuse. If you want to give me some excuse, you'll find whatever excuse.
Yep.
Just decide one day, no matter what, I'm going to go.
And if you show up and you hate it, it's one afternoon loss that you are probably just going to get scroll locked on your couch
doom
and
scrolling
waste anyway.
Yeah.
And so we have a mission to make things very accessible.
Yep.
You know, we want to lower barriers to entry. It's kind of part of our mission.
Absolutely.
So we have a lot of training equipment to get you started. All you need is groin protection, your regular athletic clothes.
Yep.
And some work gloves are great for blisters.
Yes.
And $10 mat fee because we do rent out the space. So we do.
Yes.
Yep.
If we're indoors.
Yes.
And sometimes we do park practices, and that doesn't cost us anything. So there's no charge there.
Yep. So I think the really important thing for people that hear this and want to try it out is just to not be afraid and just to come. And I can personally testify to this because I'm a member and the community was incredible. And I came in and I was just like, what am I doing here? And then somebody was like, welcome to Longsword Tribe. And I'm like, I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
Yep, I look forward to it every Sunday. And I think that people who are listening to this that maybe are feeling, hesitant or feeling, nervous to start it, I say just start it.
Yeah, and we try to pair people up with people in their skill level and we don't tolerate bullying in our thing. Even if I were to pair up against you, I'm not gonna go full bore on you. I'll probably
I appreciate that. I would be.
If we're doing that, more experienced fighters know how move down the levers a little bit. I'm gonna give you a fight, but I'm not gonna bully you, and I am gonna let you know I'm there. But my goal is not to beat you up. That doesn't help you. It doesn't help me. My goal is to build you guys up so we have more fighters.
Yep.
What do I gain if you come in to this practice and I'm just going to beat you up? You're not going to come next week. And then our team doesn't grow, right?
Yeah, I'd be roadkill.
Yeah, exactly.
Frankly.
But we gain a lot by you coming, getting a good workout, having fun, getting a couple bruises here and there. But you know what? That was a positive experience. You're more likely to come next time, and maybe bring a buddy.
Yeah.
So
the community aspect of it is incredible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. As a coach, I really try to just meet people where they're at and give them just enough pressure that they can grow from it.
Yeah.
And like we said this again, all skill levels are welcome, and we're not just saying that. We've literally had people who've never done a sport before in their life, and they're doing great. Look, it's gonna take you more work, but you'll get there if you want to get there. And we have people, done MMA for 10 years, 15 years, and freaking still in shape. And they got they already got the baseline. They got the fitness in there. But you still got to learn the techniques and stuff like that.
Totally.
So if you're athletic, you get an advantage, but you earned that by being athletic. And if you never did a sport, well, it's time to catch up.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, such a young sport.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good spot for it. I usually like to end my podcast with a funny question. So, are there 2v2s in Buhurt?
So we do have a special format, colloquially known as the Polish twos.
The Polish twos. Okay,
so in your
cool.
standard melee, when you get taken down, you make that 3 points of contact. You're down for the round. You become terrain, and you have to wait until the end of the round.
Yep.
2v2 is special because you are allowed to get back up, and the objective is you have to get both of your opponents down at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
So, it creates some like slightly different, strategies, and it lets us do some kind of melee action in a small space.
Okay, so that's going to make the question I'm about to ask you absolutely insane. Who would win in a Polish 2? The two teams being Fiore de Liberi and Geralt of Rivia, and Team 2 being Joachim Meyer. I think that's who it is, Joachim Meyer. And Melania, the Blade of Mikola.
I only know what your roles, so I don't know who the other people are.
Elden Ring, it's like the hardest boss in Elden Ring.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I think Fiore has a lot more wrestling techniques, and that is really going to carry forward. We have to have weapons, and there is some weapon striking, but unless you have like a two-handed axe, you're probably not going to drop someone in armor.
Okay.
And I think his wrestling will probably carry the day.
Against Melania, the Blade of Mikola. You played Elden Ring, right?
Oh, wait, that one's a god, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Melania. Yeah, Melania's it's the sister of Mikola.
I don't know, like that one can fly.
Yeah, she can do the thing where she jumps up in the air.
That and counts when you have to make 3 points of contact.
Oh, I guess I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, so she's automatically eliminated off rip because she jumped up in the air and it's like, hey, what's that?
Well, I mean, if she goes out over the boundaries of the list, that would be a sin.
Honestly, for anybody that's played Elden Ring, with the amount of absolutely insane moves that Melania does, she's 100% flying over the list. Oh, yeah. So okay, so she's automatic. DQ. All right, Melania's getting DQ. It's the only place that Melania ever does taste defeat. Okay, so we're going to get that to Fiore and Geralt of Rivia, for sure. Just so people know, Fiore de Liberi is he was an Italian combat, he was an Italian knight, and he wrote a bunch of manuscripts on, fighting, sword fighting.
Oh yeah, he was the best, he'll tell you.
The best of the best. And Joachim Meyer was the German kind of counterpart to Liberi in terms of the most popular manuscript writers.
Mayer, I think.
Mayer, excuse me.
They had a lot more longsword technique and buckler technique.
Got it. Yep.
Fury, I think, included a lot more wrestling and a lot more sneaky stuff. That fighting in those manuals is like fighting to the death, training. Sure. So they've got a lot of, stab him in the dick suggestions.
Shoot, which, no, I'm good without that. Yeah, I'm good without that. So, and then of course Geralt of Rivia is the Witcher, and Melania, Blade of Mikola, is the bane of my absolute existence. So we had a fantastic chat about Buhurt as a discipline compared to other armored combat like Kendo and Hema, and then Buhurt in the greater Portland community and the Portland Reavers. Again, if you want to join the Reavers, Maine Warrior Gym at 12:30.
Yep, most Sundays 12:30 to 3:30.
Awesome.
Reach out, portlandreavers.com is our website, links to all our socials.
Yep.
Any questions at all, reach out. We love answering questions.
Yes. And then the third topic, of course, being the athleticism of nerd culture, which I think is so good, and I'm thankful that it finally happened, even in my 26th year.
And the nerditing of athletic culture.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's incredible. Any last minute things that you want to say to the community before we sign off?
I want to reiterate, stop overthinking it and just show up to practice.
Heck
Don't
yeah.
worry, you got a really friendly group of people.
Yes, they do.
It's fun. Anybody can do it, and we do a soft kit. And just check it out, man. Stop overthinking it. Just show up.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I'm a huge fan of it. All right. Chris, Raul, thank you so much. Long live El Guapo. And that is it for me, folks. Everybody have a good night and stay weird, Portland.